joining us today here on the Sunday radio program. And, of course, it is hour number 2 on our big program, and we have got John Michael Hersey with us today. He joins us live here on our big program, and he has got a brand new album, Nightmares and Meditations. And he joins us today here on our big broadcast. So, John, tell me a little bit about, first of all, your background, and then we'll get into the talk of the new album.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a singer-songwriter and guitarist, and also do some acting. And I've been doing this for quite some time now. This is album number 17 of original material that I've put out. And I'm based in the New York City area. I live just north of the city. And, just been doing my singer-songwriter thing for many years. And it's what I love to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what attracted you to doing music?
Oh, my goodness. Well, we're going way back now, sir.
Sir, who walked in behind me? Go ahead.
Well, I grew up in a house where music was all around me. My mother was a dancer. My father played the piano and the violin, and I don't know, it was just in my blood. And I guess really the very first influence was the Beatles. I wanted to be John Lennon. And
That's
so,
awesome.
When I'm 5 years old, I'm up there with a broomstick in my hand, pretending it's a guitar and playing along the Beatle records.
That's fantastic. It is John Michael Hersey. He's with us today here on our big broadcast. So how do people find your music online and support you?
Oh, well, any number of places. I'm on most of your online places, iTunes, Amazon, Apple Music. My website is johnmichaelhersey.com. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, all the digital places.
That's amazing. It is John Michael Hersey. He's with us today here on our big broadcast. So tell me about your writing process.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it can come in different ways. Sometimes the words come first. Sometimes the music comes first. And sometimes they come at the same time. And sometimes it's the middle of the night. Sometimes when you're driving down the road.
Wow.
Really, yeah. So wherever, it happens to hit you, you try to, pull the side of the road and write it down or whatever. Try to get the initial inspiration, and then you take it from there. And you pick up your guitar, or you sit down at the piano, and work it out.
John Michael Hersey with us today. Nightmares and Meditations is the latest from him, and he joins us today here on our big broadcast. So how do we access your website? Do you have a website or social media or anything like this?
I certainly do. The website is johnmichaelhersey, Hersey.com. And, that's a great place to start. You can I've got all kinds of samples of music and everything there. Certainly Instagram, I'm on there. Facebook, you just look up John Michael Hersey, and you'll find me. And like I said, all the other places where you find music on the internet these days, iTunes and Apple Music and Amazon. It's all out there. I'm in there. I'm out there on the World Wide Web.
It is John Michael Hersey. He's with us today here on 990 WBOB out there in Rhode Island, of all places. Also, our good friends over there at The Mix on Tuesdays. And, of course, John Michael Hersey with us today. You can find his music on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Deezer, and, of course, Amazon. And John Michael Hersey joins us here on the telephone to talk a little bit about Nightmares and Meditations. So why did you name this album Nightmares and Meditations?
Well, it's the world we live in. There's lots of stuff going on. I guess because of also the media around us, we just get to know of every darn thing that's happening, good and bad, and some of them are, a bit scary. So, those are the nightmares. And then as far as how do I deal with it, well, I try to get the right frame of mind, keep myself in, keep my feet on the ground, and meditation, as far as I'm concerned, is making music, so some of the songs are about kind of the things I see in the world that are a little disturbing, maybe, and then the other songs are about just meditating on what's good about life, It's kind of
yes.
yin and yang type of thing. Yeah.
That is awesome. It is John Michael Hersey with us today. He joins us live here on our broadcast. So what is the story with the cover to Nightmares and Meditations?
Well, I'm an actor as well, and so I was in a play, and it's called The Weir, which is spelled W-E-I-R, and it's actually an Irish play, well known, it's a play about ghost stories. And so there's a scene in the play where I walk over to a door, and I'm describing this ghostly scene where it's a cottage out in the Irish countryside 100 years ago, and there's a knocking at the door, and so that's kind of what I'm describing. And so I just thought, well, that really goes well with my whole nightmare idea.
Fantastic. Nightmares and Meditations. John Michael Hersey with us today. So the next tune we are going to hear from you is Nightmare, off of Nightmares and Meditations. Tell me about Nightmare.
Well, it's kind of it really is a nightmare that maybe, I've certainly had in some kind of form over the years, but I think it really describes maybe, I don't know, when someone maybe finds himself detained in some place and they don't know how they got there, and and this can't be happening to me, and so it's kind of like that. Not to give the story away.
Well, we're going to do this. I'm going to place you on a brief hold, and we're going to play the tune, and when we come back, we will have more with John Michael Hersey here on our big, big broadcast. It is Nightmare!
It always starts the same. They lead me was just a dream. I see the sun and take a breath until the awful smell of death fills up the room. A voice of doom that says, oh, I am your nightmare. I'm never far behind. I'm the one you fight there. The enemy inside your mind. I'm your nightmare. I'm your nightmare. I'm your nightmare. The enemy inside your mind.
That is Nightmare. It is John Michael Hersey. He joins us today here on our big broadcast as hour number 2 of the world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio show, the Jiggy Jaguar Experience, live as live could get from the studios of The Mix on Tuesdays and, of course, 990 WBOB. We go back live to John Michael Hersey, and he's with us today. Nightmares and Meditations is the latest from him. So this CD, collection of music, you've got it all here, my friend. What kind of reactions have you been getting to Nightmares and Meditations, your latest album?
Oh, well, I've been getting some real good feedback here and there from some other internet radio stations and some reviewers and so forth. Some action on Spotify, which is kind of the state of the business right now, trying to get it streaming on Spotify. And and so and one particular song that seems to be getting some good feedback is a song called Bobby.
That's awesome.
Which is that's sort of the official first single from the album. So far so good.
It is John Michael Hersey. He's with us today here on our big broadcast. So what's next for you as an artist?
Oh boy, well, I'm going to continue. I'm already starting to record the next album, so that'll probably come out next spring or beginning of next summer. I'm acting in another play up here in the New York area. I have a couple of appearances in a couple of movies coming out next year, which will be fun. One is called Holiday, which is a horror film, and I'm also providing the music for that. And another movie is called The Magic in the Maze, where I play a lawyer. So, lots of fun stuff coming up for 23.
That's awesome. It is John Michael Hersey with us today. Nightmares and Meditations, that is the latest from him. The next track, It's All in Your Mind. Tell me a little bit about this track that we're going to play it here in a few moments.
So there you go. You played the Nightmare one. Now
yes.
It's All in Your Mind is all about meditation. It's all about the fact that whether you're anxious or you're sad or you're happy, or it's up to you. It's in your mind, and you can handle it.
Absolutely amazing. We're going to put John Michael Hersey on hold here. We're going to play this track. We'll come back and wrap things up. It's All in Your Mind, and it's here on your big program. Hour number 2 of the big show.
Troubles behind. Escape sadness, embrace gladness. It's all in your mind. The thoughts inside your monkey brain that cause you pain, just let them slowly unwind. Your confusion is in that you need and what you think it means to succeed. Only thinking makes it all so. It doesn't bring peace. Let it all go. Close your eyes and take a breath. Consider death. Eventually you will find it's not frightening.
Okay. That's what happens when you plug shit into the computer. Shit goes haywire. What in the world was that? Huh. What in the world was that? Apparently, that is how the sausage is made. So let's do this. Let's go back. God, this show has been a nightmare today to produce. Okay, let's go back to John Michael Hersey. He's with us today here on our big broadcast as we wrap up here with him. So, John, who are some different artists that you've collaborated with over the years? Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, well, for many years, I was a singer, guitar player, and musical director for groups on what they call the oldies circuit. These were groups that, came out in the 50s and 60s, and one particular group was the Cadillacs. But I have also played with the Coasters and the Drifters, and many other groups, the Platters. So I kind of made a living playing with all those kind of old rock and roll groups, and I always say that was kind of my rhythm and blues university. That's where I learned how to put on a show and really just make good music. So those are the main. And I've certainly worked with a lot of other folks here in the New York City area as well.
It is John Michael Hersey. He's with us today here on our big program. So, John, as we wrap up here with you, my friend, run it down for us one more time. How do we get in touch with you online, social media, websites, all these things?
Number one place, johnmichaelhersey.com, Hersey, is how you spell my last name. And you can email me there. You can check everything I'm doing right now, see what's up with me, where I'm performing next. I perform a lot here in the Hudson Valley area, which is just north of New York City. And, of course, you can just find my music any of the digital places, any of the places online, iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube, Spotify, and all the rest.
John Michael Hersey with us today. So you do some acting. What do you have coming up?
Well, I've got a play here in the New York area. It's called Death Trap. I've got the lead in that. It's a great murder mystery thriller play. I'm in a couple of movies that are coming out next year. One's called Hollis Day. I actually play the monster in that movie, believe it or not. Lots of makeup on. And I'm also scoring that film. And then I'm in a movie called Magic in the Maze, where I play a lawyer, which could be scary for some people. I don't know. There you go.
Well, John, have yourself a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it. There it goes. That's John Michael Hersey.